Sites and Nors are one of the more complex aspects of Star Trek CCG First Edition. If you've ever wondered how they work, hopefully this video can help. Hello, I'm Kaiser, and today I will try to explain how to use sites and Nors, outline some of their advantages, and hopefully help you to understand this concept a bit better. First, let me clarify at this point that the mechanics I'm describing here represent the rules as of January 2022. In March 2021, some rules relating to Nors and sites were reworked to be more player-friendly and make for better gameplay, as the decipher rules in this regard were a bit clumsy and weird. At the end of this video, I will give a brief overview of what was different in the decipher era for those of you who prefer the game as it was in 2002. Unlike outposts like the Bajoran outpost here, or the Bajoran headquarters, the Chamber of Ministers seated here at Alter Records, Nors do not simply allow you to report any compatible personnel and ship. In fact, by themselves, Nors don't allow you to report anything there at all. Instead, you have to resort to a special card type to do so: sites. Sites represent areas within facilities where personnel can report for duty. For example, the Science Lab site allows you to report compatible science classification there, Ops allows you to report officer classification there, and Cargo Bay allows you to report smuggling, acquisition, and non-aligned navigation personnel there. As you can see, you will need several different sites to allow all the different personnel in your deck to report at a Nor. Thankfully, the rules allow you to seed up to 6 sites for free. Like missions, they don't take up pressure slots in your seed deck, so really there is no reason not to bring some, even if you're not actually playing with a Nor yourself. But if your opponent uses one, your sites might come in handy to help you get aboard and commandeer the station, essentially stealing it from them. If it turns out no Nor is in play, simply put your side cards aside for that game. You may not seed more than 6 sites, not even by using irregular seed slots. However, apart from seeding them, you can also play additional sites using a normal card play if you stock sites in your deck. There are some decks that do this, but most of the time players are fine with the 6 side slots they get for free. If you look at the layout of a side card, you'll notice 2 small details in the lower part. In the left corner, the site says at which facility it may be used. Many can be used at any Nor, so a generic Nor, Deep Space Nine or Terec Nor, MPOC Nor, or the Mirror Terec Nor. Some sites specify that they may only be played at a specific facility, such as Quark's Bar, which may only be used at DS9 Terec Nor. In that same line, you also see in which facility level that site is located. In most games this is entirely irrelevant, but to do things properly, arrange your sites so that those that specify they are located in the Ops module are on one end of the line, place those on the Promenade level next, then those in the Habitat ring, and finally all those located in the Docking ring. By default, sites are unique per station, meaning each station is limited to only one copy of any one site card. However, some sites are actually universal, indicated by the diamond icon you know from personnel and ships, and of those you can have multiples in play at the same station. When using a special reporting function on a site card, both the card reporting and the facility must be in the native quadrants, just like with built-in reporting. So you could not report Overseer Odo to the Ops site of Deep Space Nine in the Alpha quadrant. While as Bajoran is compatible with the station as far as affiliation is concerned, his being native to the Mirror quadrant prohibits this. Note, however, that some sites do not actually mention that the personnel have to be compatible. For example, Promenade Shops specifically allows you to report non-Borg civilians there regardless of affiliation. So you can absolutely report Cardassian affiliation Mila to Bajoran affiliation Deep Space Nine if you'd like to make use of a super versatile download of any equipment card. One of the biggest advantages of the site mechanic is that some sites don't merely allow you to report certain personnel there, some also allow you to download them there directly, like Cargo Bay. It allows you to download non-aligned navigation personnel there, while Quark's Bar lets you download bartenders, waiters, Starber Girls, Quark and Rome there. And the Ops site allows you to do this with any of your sites. It says any player may, in place of the normal card play, download to an unopposed site, that is, a site at which your opponent doesn't have any of their personnel, on this station one card which may play there. So we could use the game text on Ops here to download Sormak Ren to the Infirmary. This mechanic, commonly referred to as Ops downloading, is very powerful because it allows direct access to a critical personnel that you need to overcome a tough dilemma you've just encountered, to report a missing mission skill, or to get another leader so you can begin battle against your opponent. However, this flexibility comes at a price, and using the download abilities on sites usually means that you have to forfeit your card draws for the rest of the turn. There is a virtual card called We Need You Here that conveniently gets around this restriction at the cost of a seed slot. In addition to this, there are also several other benefits hiding in the game text box of sites. Going into detail about all of them would take far too long, so here are 7 of my personal favorites. Number 1. Commandeering. The op site allows you to commandeer the station when it's under your opponent's control, which is why this site is often brought by players who don't actually use a Nor themselves. When you commandeer an opponent station, control transfers to you, and the card's affiliation changes to the affiliation of one of the commandeering personnel of your choice. It is yours to use for the remainder of the game as though it were your own card. Number 2. Many sites allow you to file mission reports there. This refers to a seedable objective that can give you an easy 5 points after completing a mission. Number 3. Guest Quarters lets you look at 2 cards when you would draw one, and then choose one to draw and put the other on the bottom of your deck. It can be done once each turn, and it's a great help to cycle through your deck a bit faster if you're looking for cards that you can't download. Number 4. Science Lab has the super useful ability to peek at the bottom seed card of that location, as long as the station is at a space mission. This is why many players like to see DS9 at characterized neutrino missions instead of at the Bajoran homeworld. Number 5. Reporting things for free. Quark's Bar actually allows you to report a number of personnel for free there, among them personnel with great skills or abilities like Rom, Lita, and different versions of Quark. And Docking Ports lets you play a number of ships that have certain traits, such as freighters, for free. This is a convenient way to get ships like Bajoran Freighter or the 9-range Zepolite Freighter into play without having to use your normal card play. Number 6. Playing Dabo. The Dabo incident is a great way to score a lot of bonus points. The card can be downloaded by Lita, who in turn can be downloaded by Quark's Bar. How do you play Dabo? You choose up to 3 cards in your discard pile as wager. At the end of your turn, you probe, that is, you reveal the top card of your deck, and if you hit a good probe icon, you score 2 points for each card wagered. You also have to shout Dabo for everyone to hear. This is not optional. Number 7. Drawing an extra card with Mourn. Quark's Bar says that if you have Mourn there unopposed at the end of your turn, you may draw an extra card at the end of your turn. You can set this up easily by using Cargo Bay to download Mourn there, as he's a non-aligned navigation personnel, then simply let him walk straight over to Quark's Bar and start drinking. Did I say walk? Oh, yeah, walking. To get around on the station, your personnel can simply walk from one side to another. Like ship movement and beaming, this is done in the orders phase, and your personnel may walk as often as they want per turn. They can also walk on and off your ship's dock there, sometimes referred to as embarking and disembarking. Did I say docked ships? Oh, yeah, docking. In order to get aboard or away from a station, ships usually dock. There are several different docking sites: the docking pads, the docking ports, and the docking pylons. Pylons are needed for really big ships that require up to 4 staffing icons, while docking pads can only be used by ships that have no staffing requirement at all. Make sure that you include an appropriate site that allows your ships to actually dock and undock. When a ship reports to docking site, it does so docked. While ships are docked, they are protected by the extension of 50% of the station's shields, similar to how it works for outposts. So, what has changed? As I mentioned earlier, some of what I've said so far only applies if you're playing according to the updated rules used in tournaments sanctioned by the Continuing Committee. While you might not always agree with what they do, in the case of site and Nor rules, in my opinion, they have changed the game for the better, because, frankly, under Decipher rules, it was like this, which was a bit of a mess. First, walking was only once per turn. Under Decipher rules, walking was limited to once per turn per personnel, so your personnel could not disembark, fetch an equipment you played to the infirmary, and take it back to the ship to fly to a mission and attempt. Instead, the personnel had to stop at the infirmary and could only move again next turn. This was very unintuitive, since walking in and out of planet facilities like the Chamber of Ministers had no such limit. The limitation also meant that it was tedious to keep track of who had already walked the turn and unnecessarily increased the mental load in a game that is rather complex anyway. Also, operating weapons only from ops. In the Decipher days, there was a little-known bit in the glossary that stated that Norse could not use their weapons, not even to return fire, unless a matching personnel, or to initiate battle, a leader, were present in ops to operate the weapons. Even if all your important decision makers might be aboard the station, if they were all having a briefing in the commander's office and didn't leave anyone behind in ops, they couldn't fire back. Under the new rules, all you need is a matching personnel or a leader anywhere on the station to fire your weapons. Mandatory docking site. Previously, a docking site was mandatory, as Decipher rules said that if you had no docking site, you were simply not allowed to report cards to your other sites. Finally, transporters could not be used. Weirdly, under Decipher rules, Norse did have transporters, but you were not allowed to use them to beam personnel from the station to or from an undocked ship, or down to a planet at the same location, with the freak exception of using transporter skills to beam large groups of tribbles. This meant that to get to and off the station, you either had to dock and undock a ship and walk your personnel on and off, or use a card that specifically allows you to beam through shields such as invasive transporters. If you're playing with new rules, the player who controls the station can simply beam from anywhere aboard the station to a ship at that location or to the planet's surface. Overall, reworking these Decipher rules, in my opinion, is largely a quality of life improvement and doesn't take away anything dear or important from the original game. Even if you otherwise stick to Decipher rules, this is one area where you might consider giving the CCG rules a try and see how it works for you. That brings us to the end of this little video about sites in Norse. If you have any feedback or follow-up questions or suggestions for other topics, please leave a comment, and if you found this at all helpful, please leave a like and subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching, and remember to expand your power in the universe.